Hey everybody, it's Sam here. So today I'm going to show you how I've made this fun gift bag. It's 2 boxes in the middle here. I've made mine so the top looks like a crown and it's obviously decorated for the King's coronation, but this can be decorated any way you want and you can just keep this flat along the top. It looks really nice with your pattern papers and so on. It's held together there with a hook and loop. Open it up. I am going to cover this here because I don't like that that's visible, so I am going to cover that. And then inside you've got these 2 boxes. Great size, fit lots in there. These are going to be great for personalising, got lots of space here. I think I'm going to have a message stamped here when I decide what that will be. You'll see it in the photos when I end up posting it onto my blog. And then they all just sit really nicely together. And that all lines back up. And then in my case, you can carry it with the handles. Or like I said, just keep it as a nice gift box. I think it would make nice table favours. I love the papers that I've used here. I'll show you all of that in a moment. So let's get started. First we'll make the boxes. So I've got my 300 GSM cardstock here. This is A4 size, so it's 11 3/4 by 8 1/4. First of all, along the long side, you're going to score at 1.5, 5.5, 7 and 11. And then rotate so that tab end there is at the bottom. And you're going to score at 1.5, 6 and 7.5. So you want to do that twice. You'll then want these 2 pieces here, which are for the case. And these are, again, A4 length, so 11 3/4 by 4 1/8. I've done them slightly bigger than the box, just so that you don't see any of that on the sides. So along that long side, you want to score at 3. I'm going to do that on both pieces. So fold and burnish all of these score lines. So you want to have this so that you've got that tab on your right hand side. Along the bottom here, you want to cut up these score lines just to the first score line. And then this rectangle in the corner, just remove that completely. And then just take a little wedge off of the corner there. And then staying on this side, you'll have a rectangle and then like a square. You want to remove all of that. We're now going to remove all of this as well, but I just break down each step just so it's a bit easier to understand. So if we now rotate it this way, you want to cut down all of these score lines to the second score line. So past this one and down to this one. The same as what you did on the bottom, but you're going past that score line and down to that one there. So now where the tab end is, you want to remove all of this portion here. And then remove the tops of the 2 squares. So this one and this one here. I'll just bring it round so you can see the shape. So you've got your tab there on the right and you want something that looks like that. We're now going to take little wedges off of these 2 squares here. And then also off of this one here. But leave this one here as it is. Flip it around and just take a wedge off of the inside sides of these squares. Okay, this just stops everything catching and less bulk. And then just take a tiny bit off of this side because you want the box to still lock closed. You might take a bit more off later on. And then just a little bit off here. I just find I cut away more of the score line that you might see still attached. Just tidy that up like so. And again, a little bit there. Don't take too much, just a little bit first. You can always do more later on. Okay, so you want to do that. So you've got 2 pieces. Next, I'm going to take my glue and run it all down the tab. And then fold that whole panel and that tab over and then the other side there. You want it to all lie flat and then just fold it back the other way. So these are great if you want to make ahead of time, you know, just keep them all flat packed. You can keep all this together, you know, and then assemble it nearer the time so you haven't got it all taking up space. So I'm now going to use the construction glue. These are all linked to the glues that I use below the video. And the one that's the solid rectangle, that's the last one to stick down. So I like to stick the back one down first, then the sides, and that way it looks nice and neat when you look in, if you look inside the box. Stick those pieces down and then add a bit more glue on top. And now that will conceal it all, so it's nice and neat. And then inside, you see it looks neat. You don't have those tabs, so you can just spread all that glue out now. Close that all down, so you'll see where you cut the bigger chunks away. You've got no kind of bulk or nothing catching there. But you want there to be a bit of grip on this side for this to close and stay in place. Like I said, if it's too tight, then you just need to cut a little bit more away. That feels a bit too tight, so I'm going to take a little bit off here. In fact, I can see where it's just buckling a little bit there. So there's just too much card. So I'm just going to just tidy that up a little bit there. There we go, loads better, but it still locks in there nicely. So you want to do that twice. So I've already got my other box here. So pop those to one side, then you want this one here. Now there's actually another score line I forgot to tell you, and that's for the top part. So you would have scored at 3, but you also want to score at 9 3/4. Just fold and burnish that one. So it's going to be, you want your folds to be like that. So again, this one here, 9 3/4. So we're going to take one of the boxes, and you want the opening, it's going to sit on, so this is the left side. You want the back of the box to sit inside here so that the opening is inside. If I just show you this one so it explains it a bit better. See, the opening is inside. If you'd done it the other way, you wouldn't be able to get into the box. So just make sure your boxes are facing the right way. I'm going to use the construction glue and cover the back of the box. And this box is slightly smaller than the width of this here. So just sit it. You want to butt it up to that base score line. So the larger area, this is 2 inches. That's the top. It's this bigger area here. And just pop it up on its side. Make sure that it's in the middle. You should have, see, a tiny little bit, just that small amount on each side there. And then just spread all that glue out. But you want the bottom to stay open, because that works as like a hinge, so that they can both drop down, and that's where you can have a little message or something. And if you just take a ruler or your bone folder, you can just get in there and really spread out. We're then going to do the same with the other one. So again, make sure the opening is facing out. And now this is the right side, so I'm sticking it all this way. So again, add your glue, and again, just butt it up to that base score line, and that fold, and make sure it's in the middle. Okay, so now you need to stick one of these panels over that one. I've got some glue there, so I'm going to stick the left over the right, but it really doesn't matter. So just cover the back side of whatever side you're attaching, and then just place it over the top, and it will push itself out in a minute when you bring the boxes up, because they're sitting side by side. So just bring them together and just push down towards the bottom here. And you can see how far out they've pushed it, just about 1/8 of an inch. Just pushed it out. I'm just going to rub away that glue there. Okay, so now these pieces, you'll see, will come together and create that top. So you can see the shape there is really nice for all occasions. You can, you know, have someone's name on the top, big birthday number. It's going to work for, you know, lots of different themes as well. But I want to turn the top into a crown shape. So I've cut these pieces here. So you can see what I did. So I marked along the top. So what I'll do is I'll just turn this over and just talk you through. But I think I've done every 3/4 of an inch. Just do a little marker at every 3/4 of an inch. So 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, and 3. And then mark down 3/4 of an inch and do a pencil line across there. And then along that line there, you want to mark it every 3/8. So it's 3/8 of an inch, 1 1/8, 1 7/8, 2 5/8, and 3 3/8. And then you're just going to cut down from the top of the card down to that point that you would have marked at, then up to the next point, down, up, down, up, down, up, all along until you have that effect. And then I didn't do the same on here. I stuck this on, you'll see me do it in a minute, and then I just cut around it. It was just easier that way. So I'm going to stick those down on both sides. Okay, so that's all stuck down. Next I want to add the hook and loop. So I'm just going to do 2 pairs here. I've only got these small ones and I want to get them used, so I'm just doubling up. If you've got one big hook and loop, then you could use that. So I'm just going to pop them down in each corner like so, and then just line up the score lines together. So Then I've got all the pattern paper to decorate. So now we can decorate all of the sides. So for the front and the back, you're going to want to cut yourself 2 pieces of 3 7/8 by 6.5. That one's going to go there, and then that one on the back. And then inside, to cover the box, I've got these 2 here. Now the papers I've used are from this pad here. It's a 12 by 12 Best of British paper pack by Simply Made Crafts. It's 6 designs, 24 sheets, 250 GSM. So it is a cardstock. So you could actually make the boxes using this as well. It's strong enough. These 2 here are 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. And then I've got these 2 to go on the tops of the boxes. And they are 1 1/4 by 3 3/4. And then I've got 4 pieces or strips, and they're going to go on the sides of the box. If you want to cover the underside, you'll need these sizes again, but I personally wouldn't, because it's going to lift the boxes up slightly. So I think it's just best leaving the bases empty. And then 2 for that side there, and these are 1 1/4 by 4 1/4. I'm going to get all those stuck down. I've also got this piece here. If you look on the front, I've just added this kind of trim on the crown. So this is 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then 1/4 inch by 3 3/4, and I've just stuck that through the middle. So I will attach that as well. Okay, I think I gave you the wrong measurement for that strip there. I don't know why I've done mine at 3 3/4, because it should be 3 7/8. So that pink piece and the gold strip should both be 3 7/8. So I'm slightly short there. You can see on this one, you know, it all fits in perfectly, and that's how yours will be with the measurements that I've told you, and follow the ones that come up on the screen. And then I've got my topper here, which is the official King Charles emblem. I actually purchased this off of an Etsy seller to later find out that it's free on Cricut Design Space. So I would recommend, you don't even have to own a Cricut to download Design Space. And then you'll be able to, you know, download any of the things on there if you just want to print them off. So I just resized this to 2 7/8, say 3 inches diameter, and then I had a gold die that fit really nicely around it. And there you have it. How cute. They're just really nice. They're kind of like milk cartons, but with a different, you know, kind of construction. Also the embossing folder, because some people ask, it's this one here. I think it was a freebie in a magazine. That's what I used to emboss those, all of the side details there. So I'll leave them side by side so you can see how they look with handles or without. I think card handles would look nice as well. But like I said, I'm going to stick these on, and then I'm going to cover them. I think I'm just going to cut some slightly larger circles and just pop them over the ends, so it just tidies it up a little bit. So as always, thank you for watching today. I'll link what I can in the description box below the video. I'll have some other fun kind of milk carton unusual boxes popping up now. You might want to watch those next. And if you've enjoyed today, give me a thumbs up. It does really help the channel, and I'll be back again very soon. Take care. Bye.